Welcome to Industries Live. It is Tuesday again, and we stream live every other Tuesday. And this Tuesday, we are going to focus on gaming. And I am super excited because I get to have a new co-host today. And I should say, before I turn it over to my new co-host, that I lead the partner solutions architects for several different industries. So I lead our financial services, our healthcare and life sciences, our telecommunications, and our media, entertainment, games, and sports partner solutions architects, which is a really great span of industries. So you get to see me every other Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. But today we are going to focus on gaming, and I'm going to throw it over to you, Patrick, to introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. So my name is Patrick Palmer. I'm a principal solution architect focused on games and AI/ML at AWS. So my job is really to kind of help game partners and customers kind of build value by going to the cloud and enabling like cutting edge visual technologies. And so, like, I guess a fun fact for me, something about myself is I've been like a gamer since, a kid. I've put many a quarter into like a joust game and playing Infocom. But I think these days now I'm playing like Disco Elysium and, Horizon Zero Dawn.
That is fantastic. And that is actually the best question for all of the viewers that are joining in. My favorite part of hosting these shows is actually seeing all of the locations people are joining us from. So drop in the comments section where it is you're joining us from and what your favorite game is, because I think that'll be really interesting for us to be calling out throughout the show. I will try to call out the farthest distance that I can see as you're streaming comments in. I'm from Canada, so I'm going to try to find somebody in Newfoundland that's joining in here. So please drop it in. Enjoy the interaction that we'll have in the chat throughout the whole stream. And our first one is from Chile. So awesome. I'm super excited to see that starting up. So with that, Patrick, let's bring our guests in today so that we can learn a little bit more about what we are going to be discussing. Great. Awesome. I love it. So both of you too, Štěpán, Jan, I'd love for you to introduce yourselves. Maybe let's kick it off with Jan.
Yeah, hi. My name is Jan. Actually, I'm CTO of Remāngu. And what is Remāngu? That's a studio in the cloud. And this is what we will be talking about during this session. Some fun facts about me. So what would I just tell you? I'm not drone racer. Actually, I race like the FPV drones for my childhood, actually. And I also built a lot of them. But me and the games. Actually, I spent like 15 years in the army. I started my career in the army, and I was building like systems for Air Force, especially systems that solved like a very known problem in the Air Force and in the battlefields, which is like to put together something which is called common operational picture. So normally you take data from the sensors, you need to visualize them on the virtual battlefield and then feed it back, for example, to the boards of helicopters and other forces. And you might know that this is not a game, maybe like the real life game, but it is like actually very close to game because you have a lot of visualization, simulations, physics there, and things like this. And once I just decided to leave the army, I continued in this journey, but currently in the actual gaming. Because I'm not like a game developer by itself, we decided to focus more on game technologies, and together with Štěpán, we are putting very interesting things together. Štěpy, would you talk about yourself and things like this?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting us here. So my name is Štěpán Kaiser. I'm CEO of Remāngu. And okay, where to start with my introduction? So I'm actually also not a game developer. So, well, what we are doing here, right? But I think what connects me mostly with Jan is that we both really like to work with the customers and we really like to solve the problems. And this is something that actually was always connected with all my like past jobs, past careers, that I was always very focused on actually understanding customers and understanding what they are doing, what their problems are, and how to help them. So actually, I started my tech career with maps technologies. So I studied geoinformatics because I was curious how the GPS system works. And from that, quite curiously, I started to work with Google Maps solutions, and I was helping customers to use the Google Maps for their applications. Then it was cloud from Maps, quite close. And in the past job, I met Jan, and with him, we started working on this Remāngu game studio in the cloud proposition. And yeah, let's discuss what it is today.
Which I think is fascinating. I think we've all traversed different careers to get to where we are right now. And it's fun, all of the knowledge that you pick up along the way. And I think it helps us also work backwards from what a customer is experiencing, because we've been customers in different industries before we are doing what we're currently focused on, which I think brings a lot of strengths to it. I do have to shout out that we do have people joining from India, Poland, Colombia. Still looking for my furthest distance here, people. So let's keep going. Put out where it is that you're joining us from. We'd love to hear from more. Let's start with the simplest question. Tell us what Remāngu does.
Okay, I can start. Jan can continue. By the way, I'm joining from Estonia. If anyone from Estonia in the chat.
Awesome, great.
So I will start with saying when the Remāngu started. So we started Remāngu let's say at the end of the COVID times, and we were actually solving we are working in a cloud company, delivering different cloud solutions using AWS technologies, and we have been approached by one studio who is providing animation services to the AAA studios. And because there was a COVID, there was lockdown, they had a problem how to connect with the AAA studio to whom they wanted to deliver their animation services. And it's guys, I don't know, cloud technologies, is there something that we can do about it? Is there some way how actually you can solve it? And that was the first time when we hear this idea of a studio in a cloud concept, actually. So how to move the whole game production and game development from the physical place to virtual space to the cloud. And maybe Jan, you can continue here, how it evolves, and I can again
Yeah, actually, it was really interesting story because nobody just did it before, I would say, to put not only the virtual teams together with the AAAs, but run it completely. I mean, completely all the production in the cloud. And we succeeded. And actually, because we set everything, including the custom game engine running in the cloud, and the artists were able to deliver their high quality work for AAA. We actually decided, or we asked ourselves a question. So if there is one studio we were able to help with, there must be definitely more of them. And we started our exploring because, as Štěpán said, we are highly focused on customer development way of working. And actually, we found out that, yeah, there are definitely more of them. So we ran the dozens of projects in this project way. And then we have decided to build up the Remāngu like a SaaS platform.
And I think that makes an absolute ton of sense, because we also talk about, we talk often about working backwards from the customer, but in your case, you actually started your entire product development lifecycle right from the customer and actually said, okay, we've done this a few times. What's the best practices? How can we keep getting it easier and easier and easier so there's no friction to the actual creative process? And I'm a sucker for anything technical and an actual demo. So can we actually see the studio in the cloud that you've built?
For sure. Yeah. So if you can share it, you can see.
Oh, yep. Here it comes.
Yeah, actually, I will comment. What you see here is like the recording because we have limited time. Normally, it works that you subscribe online to the cloud platform where you select your region you work from. For example, in Oregon or whatsoever, we support all regions of AWS. Then you can decide to run all your own workplace. We call it like the workplace, which is virtual machine in the cloud. Like the remote desktop with fine-tuned streaming protocol. You can set like many parameters here, and you can actually connect to your desktop. Once you are connected, you have all available, like pre-installed from templates. You have connection to the localized Perforce. You have like pre-installed Unreal Engine, so you can immediately jump into the work, and you don't need to, let's say, install anything. Imagine that you are like the new, let's say, employee or new remote worker or new artist to the studio. They invite you and you can immediately start working without like waiting for a new computer. Actually, what you see here, it was like something different at the end of the week.
You were showing us how to also build from scratch.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. So what you're actually being able to say is, hey, how can I create a virtual workstation in the easiest possible way so that a game developer can be essentially not having to know all that kind of undifferentiated heavy lifting, all that stuff underneath the hood. You figured out how to say, okay, that's great that the cloud's under here, but let's make that as seamless as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Because normally, if you'd like to set it up in the cloud by yourself, you can definitely do it. But you need to understand all the compute, networking, storage, databases as well, and you need to configure it. It takes hours or even like days to get it and to set it up properly. With Remāngu, you can have it actually in one click, in just 1 minute. Your prepared workplace or virtual machine is running. But not only, because in Remāngu there is not just like the workplace, I mean like the remote desktop, but you also have like pre-configured Perforce, which can act as your, let's say, version control system from many different scenarios. It can be like the master server with forwarding replica, or if you have already the Perforce, it can be connected as a proxy or edge. And actually, we have a couple of new features as well in Remāngu.
And so to add to that, so something that's always kind of this question for customers is, what is the security, right? Like, is my data protected, and how do I know that? And that's always kind of been a little bit of a hindrance, right? And so going with like Remāngu, right, you're bringing in those best practices of security without having people to worry about it. And so what are the other types of things that customers have been a hindrance that you've kind of helped them overcome?
Yeah, so like there are, I would say, like 3 main aspects why we typically see customers moving their studio or their game production to the cloud. You mentioned the first one, the security. Actually, very often it's even impossible to work on some AAA project without some part of the cloud production, because like having your data stored somewhere on the computer, somewhere where you don't know that, it's something you don't want to do that, because you are working on a game, I don't know, 5 years, and the data or the actual game assets, it's the most valuable that you have in the company. It's like literally everything you have. But the next use case is, for example, connecting new people remotely, because typically what we see is that when you are onboarding a new talent remotely, it can be a process easily for like a month. And it consists of, like buying the computer, install the computer, packing the computer, sending the computer abroad. You don't want to do that. It's really not like, your job if we are developing the game. And with our setup, you can like really start working on a game in, like 3 to 5 minutes. It's not even like the marketing climate. It's a fact you can like really do it that fast. And I would say the third one that we see quite often is kind of like a hybrid mode. So a lot of people are, working remotely in these days. It's become like one of the standards of working, and you simply don't want to be tied to your like physical workplace. And what we enable you is actually to like, travel anywhere you want, and you can still have the access to those like super powerful cloud computer that can do for you the running the engine, run the builds, storing the data, etc.
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure that, again, based on where everybody is joining us from, they are probably loving to hear that you can do it from wherever, that you have access to be able to be creative no matter what, and not having to have that physical infrastructure having to be shipped to you, et cetera. So I think we have Italy, Brazil, Argentina, all kinds of different locations. So keep that up in the chat, and also let us know if you have any questions for our guests here today as well. So can you tell us a little bit more about, based on the features that you had to build for Studio in the cloud, what are some of the other things that you could give us a little bit of a tech demo peek behind the covers on? What's the next thing that customers are always asking for?
Yeah, because we have started with, let's say, getting people, getting people remotely to work on the game development projects. The next logical thing, and we actually heard it from our customers, is to actually build the game. I mean, to produce like the binaries and the actual like outputs from what you are doing. And once you build the game in the cloud, you have like the executable. The next logical step is to deploy it somewhere you can immediately play the game without like downloading, installing on your own computer. And this is what we have launched like recently. It's our playtesting solution, game build and playtesting solution, as a distribution platform, which is based on awesome AWS GameLift streams technology. So you can develop the game in the cloud, you can play the game from the cloud, you can playtest it, and if it is like in the cloud, it's securely closed there, so no leaks at all. And we have like kind of demo of our playtesting platform, so we can play it right now.
Okay, so are you going to bring it up and show us? Great, thank you.
Štěpě, would you comment, please?
Yeah, so you are playing the game already, and I did think we have here is that you can actually anytime play the game, stop the play and add a screenshots, comment, etc. But okay, let's start from the beginning. So let's say first you are like the admin and you create a playtest. You select from the builds that, by the way, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, awesome game. You select the builds that you want to enable for the playtest. You set objectives and the description for the testers. You choose like which people will have access to it and for how much time. And you can also like explore details of the already done playtest. So you can watch the recordings, you can watch the comments, you can watch the screenshots that people took, etc. Yeah. And when you are actually a tester, the work for you is like super easy because you just log to the platform. You here have like the access of list of playtests that are available to you. You see what is expected from you to test, and you play the game, and easy as that. And yeah, as I said, you can anytime like comment, add emojis, add reactions, etc. That's it.
Cool. It's always like, it always makes it more real when you can actually see what that interaction would look like and being able to set up the playtest. But also it was neat to see that you could take the screenshot and annotate that as well, really simply if you're the playtester. And that was, you only have kind of the cue of what you're supposed to be able to see.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's beyond just playtesting, right? Like any creative can sit there and make comments about here's what's working or not working, right, in the story. And so it's beyond just playtesting, right? It kind of helps in the whole creative ecosystem.
Absolutely. So there are a lot of like milestone reviews happening, etc. So it's not only for the playtest itself, but for everything. But when we are mentioning the creative process, actually as we mentioned at the beginning, that we are like constantly trying to do the customer development, and that's how we are like trying to add in new features and new solutions. we started this idea of Remāngu with being focused only, or let's say almost only for the game developers. But then on the go, we realized that actually the same setup, or almost the same setup, is useful also for like movie producers, animators, VFX studios, etc. And I think it's also kind of like nice aspect to like still trying to to talk to customers and like exploring new potential use cases. And it got us to a lot of, I would say, interesting situations. And we will be probably sharing one of these, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if we have pictures to share, what we can. You know what? Because game studios are using, for example, like the Unreal Engine here. And this is something which is currently used by movie makers, virtual production or VFX studios, animation studios to produce like high quality animation movies or whatsoever. And because they are using the Unreal Engine, there are just something we are interested in, because we can use just exactly or almost the same setup with them, so we are running Unreal Engine in cloud. So it really doesn't matter if you create like the games in that or some new super cool animation full featured movie. And we have one customer. Can we share the actually the Dextry pictures?
Yeah, I can share it. So you can keep talking, and I will.
Okay, sorry for that. For example, we have one customer, Dextry Studios in Stockholm, and because they are running like very big installation of motion capture based on like the motion capture system, I would say, and they are feeding all the data into the Unreal Engine. They decided not to be just a local studio, but they decided to go like to be a little bit global. And normally, like the shooting session in this studio looks like that they have like the actors, performers, motion capture superstars, they call it. And if they work for, let's say, some production, it might be games, it might be other, let's say, movie makers. They really don't need to invite like everyone on the stage. Because what they do, they are feeding data from the motion capture system to the Unreal Engine, which is running in Remāngu. And because it is running in the cloud and it's collaborative platform, they can invite, for example, like the producers and directors remotely. And they feel like they are on the stage. And moreover, they have things like this 3-tone camera robot. Actually, this one was used on Harry Potter filmmaking. And imagine that you are a director and you'd like to, let's say, fine tune a shot, and you can remotely control this 3-tone monster to get like the proper shot of the actors who are on the scenes. We are running like the Unreal Engine in cloud. Director will connect into the remote workstation. He has like the live data there. And this is how Dextry Studios become like a global one, from just a local Stockholm facility. And we see currently more and more use cases actually in this, let's say, kind of industry. So using like the game engines, part of games, and using the power of cloud to work collaboratively on the projects.
I will, if I may, I will just add a fun or interesting fact. So, well, first of all, this is like a really nice situation for me personally when you can connect this like technology world, working with cloud, always like with a computer, things like that, actually like visiting physically the customer in their like physical studio, talking to them, like touching these all like huge robots, etc., which is really nice. But I wanted to show you one more thing. So This is actually a picture of Homer Simpson that was drawn fully by this like 3 tons robot that we were showing on these previous pictures. And it's to demonstrate the precision, how this monster is actually capable to work or to operate. This is like, I don't know, it's like millimeter or maybe not even, so it's like really, really small and very precise. So,
Yeah, and actually the robot moves like the 50 kilometers per hour. So you have to be aware while, let's say, moving on the stage as well. So.
That is really very cool and pretty unique and incredibly tiny. Super interesting. Patrick, I have one question that's come into the chat that I'm hoping that you can answer.
Sure.
And that is, student that's joining, they're earning their AWS for Games badge. They're interested in understanding AWS Game Lift. They're already doing courses on that. Can you tell them a little bit about why we feature partners and how partners help achieve a customer's end goal?
Sure. So when you're working with AWS, a lot of it is like taking Legos and putting it together. But bringing our partners in brings in the best of breed tools and all of your creative tools that all of your artists are used to, right? You know, these pipelines have been in place for many years. And so you're used to those workflows and those tool sets. And so you want to, by coming to the cloud, you don't want to have it be like completely new. You want to use the tools you're used to. So you partner, you know, you work with these partners to kind of create, a visual ecosystem that you're used to and that the pipelines adapt to. And so like Remāngu is making it so that they're taking a lot of like what is, what feels like patchwork and really making it a comprehensive strategy, right? Where it's a whole end-to-end game development workflow. And so that's why we bring in these partners who are like domain experts and who can make these comprehensive solutions.
That is a terrific answer. And Remāngu, now I'm going to toss the same question to you of, as say a student or somebody that is new in the industry is looking to learn more about your solution, is there a certain spot that you would point them that has free training resources or YouTube videos that you think are the best things for a student to go after?
So we actually just came from GDC, where we recorded some like demo videos of our platform, like pretty detailed ones. So you can find us on YouTube. Remāngu, it should find it. Actually, Remāngu Cloud. That's the handle.
Perfect.
Or just let us know. That would be the best. Connect with us on LinkedIn. Shoot us the email. Yeah, here. We are actually happy to talk to everybody. So we don't have honestly any like super detailed, like learning model, etc. We are still pretty small to have that, but we are happy to talk to everybody. So if you have some ideas, if you want to test our platform, we have a lot of like free programs, etc. So just let us know.
Awesome. So we're at our last minute with you. So I apologize. I took a question there that took up a lot of time, but could you give us a 30-second recap of what we should be taking away from the conversation, Studio in the Cloud, how we can be thinking about that, and who you want to hear from afterwards?
Yeah, actually, Remāngu Studio in the Cloud, all you need to do like the game development, even if you don't have a computer, you can have whatever crap, and you connect like the box in the cloud and you are running like the high speed. You have unlimited storage, cool networking. It's super cool to install like the Unreal Engine on that, because it is like in second, not in like 20 minutes or something like this. Write us an email and we can talk. We can demo our platform in more detail. You can test it actually for free.
Fantastic. We love it. Thank you so much for joining Patrick and I today on Industries Live. We will be back in 30 seconds, quick break, and we'll be bringing back Modal AI. So thank you very much, Štěpán and Jan, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.